Hello, my name is Teshia Faulkner. I'm a service coordinator with FedCap Youth Pathways. 7 years ago this month, I started working for FedCap, but at the time, I was receiving public assistance. Um, I had no idea that I would be needing public assistance. Um, at the time, I had just moved back to New York from out of state, and I worked in the medical field. I was a certified CNA, a certified med tech. I was a shift supervisor. I trained CNAs. I dispensed medications in nursing homes and assisted living. I worked for hospice. So I had a pretty good work history. I had references, but I also had a misdemeanor in that state. Even though I thought I had it expunged, it wasn't expunged because the wrong documents were submitted. So when I got to New York, like I said, I never thought I would have an issue finding employment. And, you can take care, there's nursing homes everywhere. So, but I wasn't able to get those jobs. So I had barriers. My barrier was my certifications weren't um, accepted in New York City, they were invalid. And then I had a misdemeanor on my criminal record. So it was very hard for me to get a job that I wanted. These little part-time jobs here and there did not work for me. There wasn't enough to maintain a household, and being on public assistance, they did help me get an apartment. They gave me a voucher called Work Advantage, and I got an apartment for myself and my kids, but it was in a private house with a private owner. And after a year, the program had lost their funding, and they stopped paying my rent. And with a private owner, they don't have to renew your lease. And even if you go to court, you only have 30 days to come up with the money. And I couldn't come up with $1,800 a month for rent. I still wasn't even working full time. I went for training with SUNY. I lost my apartment. I moved in with a friend. It was very hard, but I had to keep going. I moved in. I went to SUNY and got. I went to a class called Business Office Technology. I got a certification in that and certified in Microsoft Office Specialist Suites. I said, well, maybe I'll be able to get an admin job. So I stayed with SUNY once I graduated as an intern because I didn't want to do a web assignment. It wasn't a paycheck. It was still, I was still getting experience though that I can put on my resume. And it was working in a computer lab, helping people like myself that had been, you know, having to go and interview and become computer savvy in order to move on to the next stage of their life, you know, and not knowing that they would be at this point in their life. So I did that. Um, Still no job. Still was having issues. So I worked for the Parks Department. I was a JTP and I worked with them for 6 months. And I loved it, but it came to an end after 6 months. I still didn't have a job. A friend of mine told me about the FedCap program. So I went to FedCap. They helped people that had um, criminal and a criminal record or involvement with the criminal justice system. And in the computer lab, still applying for jobs, going on Indeed, checking my emails, and other people in there was asking me for help because I seemed like I knew what I was doing, and a lot of them who had been incarcerated didn't know anything about computers, and they didn't even know how to check their emails and stuff. And they asked me for help, and I would help them just like I was doing in at SUNY. So it wasn't no thing for me. I just did it, and I was like, wow, I wish I could get a job here. And I didn't realize that they had been watching me, and they offered me an interview for a front desk receptionist job. And I didn't even know that job was available, but it was. So I got the front desk receptionist job with Employment Works. And after 4 years, that program lost their funding. And I was able to obtain a job with Youth Pathways as a front desk receptionist. And a little over a year ago, I obtained the service coordinator position. So I'm saying that to say this, that HRA is public assistance, is that public assistance. They want to assist you from the hardships that you're having, and they want to help you move on to the next phase of your life. Your circumstances don't define you. You don't have to stay in your situation. And if you need assistance, that's what they're there for. But it's not a job. It's not getting a paycheck. You don't get a living wage. You can't maintain a household on public assistance. So take advantage of the opportunities, because we don't never know when they're going to run out of funding, and these programs can go away because they say that you don't need these programs. Nobody's interested. Nobody's utilizing these resources. So that money is going to be sent and done something else with that money. So you have to take advantage of while you can. While everybody during this pandemic has time now to be at home and take advantage of training online at home. You can still take your child to school, pick them up from school, or if they not in school, you have to do remote learning. You still can do your classes online. You can become a security guard. You can do that online and then go in at certain points. You can get your OSHA 30. You can go to get your GED. If you don't have your GED, you can go to college. It's just, these programs are here now, but they're not guaranteed. So take advantage of it while you can, while you have the time, and you'll feel so much better for yourself once you move on to the next stage in your life, and do things better. You don't have to stay in your circumstances. These programs are here. Use them at this time. Thank you.